Hi, my name is Alina and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I'm teaching you how to create really cool illustration and animation. I'm using Adobe Illustrator, Fresco and After Effects. For this tutorial, I will show you how to create this really cool retro Christmas tree. This is part 1, and in part 2 I will create an After Effects animation of this illustration. Enjoy and let's start! I created an artboard in Adobe Illustrator 1080 x 1080 and imported my sketch that I did in Adobe Fresco. You can use Procreate or a paper, it's no matter, it's only up to you, and you can also download my sketch in the description. There are two sketches, the main one and the second one. On the second one I describe for me which part of the illustration I would like to animate in Adobe After Effects, and these parts should be on the separated layers. In part 2 we'll also animate this illustration. So the next step, I will reduce the opacity of the main sketch and lock the layer. And now we can start with the illustration. So for the main shape I'm using only two tools: pencil, the shortcut is N, and pen tool, shortcut is P. I'm coloring the forms using the eyedropper tool and the shortcut is E. I'm drawing only on one layer, but after that we will sequence all the forms to use it also for the animation. Now I will sequence the layers. I select the layer and go to this hamburger menu and select release to the layers sequence. I don't know why it wasn't recorded, but you can find this on this hamburger menu. Now I will create the other shapes using N for pencil and P for pen tool. Now they are all pink because it's easier to create the shapes with the same color and not to choose eyedropper tool to add the colors, but we will do this after that. So I'm also creating all the shapes for the boy using N and P, and it's important to create the back leg on the separate layer because we will animate this leg in part 2 of this tutorial. I'm also adjusting my forms with curvature tool. You can also do this. And so for the next step, I'm creating all the main shapes for the boy. I also decided to create the both arms on the separated layers because it's possible that I will also animate them in Adobe After Effects, and it's easier to separate them at this step and not in After Effects. His hand should contain two parts, the back part and the front one, and so I'm duplicating the shape with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F to place on the same place and using scissor to cut the shape. And so we have the upper part for the fingers, I'm closing it with the pen tool, and the under part I deleted because we don't need it, we have the first shape. Now I will create the other shapes using the same technique with pencil, pen tool and the curvature tool to adjust the shapes. So all the basic shapes are created, and now I will add a red background and start with the decoration elements for the Christmas tree. So I will show you how I'm creating this Christmas balls. As an example, I'm creating the main shape, ball, and now I'm using the draw inside mode and creating the shapes with the pencil inside of this ball. So we will only see the elements that are in this ball inside. Use the eyedropper tool to color the elements, and for the stripe I'm using pen tool and stroke mode to create the stripes. And the same technique with the stripe as with the hand. I'm duplicating the form with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F, and with the scissor I'm cutting the back part of the stripe to place it under the Christmas branch. So the same with the other Christmas balls. I'm using the same shape and the same stroke. I'm only reflecting it to the left. So with the same primitive forms such as ellipse and star, I'm creating the other Christmas tree decoration elements. I didn't like the hand-drawn style of my main star, and so I recreated it with the normal standard star form of Adobe Illustrator. This is my favorite moment where I'm creating the sharp shadows for the elements, and the same technique I'm duplicating the shape with Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F, make it darker and place it underneath the actual shape. And so after that we will have this retro dark sharp shadow for the illustration. Not all shapes are separated, and so I'm using pen tool to create the middle shadows of the branches. With pen tool I also created a little bit of snow for the Christmas tree and added the same sharp dark shadow. I also added a ribbon for the gift underneath and create it with the pen tool with stroke and normal form for the underpart of the ribbon. So it's the time where the magic happens. We will make all the shapes to 100% opacity. And it looks already really cool. And after this step, I will add also some dark sharp shadows to the other deco elements and adjust some forms. Now I will also recreate the Christmas pot. I don't like it, and now it looks for me better. I will also play with the position of the gifts. I don't like it now, and so I think the big one is better to be above and the orange one in the middle. Make a shadow for the Christmas tree to match the look, and after that I will also adjust the colors of the shoes of the boy and recreate the main shapes of the star, because I don't like how it looks like. As we adjusted the opacity to 100, we can clearly see that it looks not good. Now it looks better, and you can also see why we created two forms of the hand of the boy, so we can use the upper part to create the dark shadow, and now it looks really realistic. I also like this part to create the lights for the elements. So for the star I use normal ellipse tool, and I also use a pencil to create a light on the other shape of the star. So we are already there, really good job, and we have to create a little bit more shadows for this dramatic retro look for the trousers of the boy and for the sleeves of the sweater. the sweater of the boy looks like still empty, so I add a color to the sweater and also some snowflakes for this cozy and sweet look. For this reason I used the brush tool, the shortcut is B. At the end I will only adjust the shadows of the sleeves and the form of the color, and we can add the grain texture to the red background. Go to Effect, Texture, Grain and adjust the parameters. And the illustration is done. I'm really proud how it looks like. In part 2 we will animate it, so stay with me. Thank you for being with me and please subscribe to my channel. I'm uploading weekly new tutorials in Adobe After Effects and Adobe Illustration. And thank you. I will see you in my next video. Bye!